Okay, all of you are with me now. All of you are okay. That's good. Just like I mentioned that you are going to pick these values and just observe what is these returns values are there at 16%. Some of the values have been changed, not most of the values. So just going to copy that. Anyhow, let me check first of all this NP value because I'm facing the problem here. Why it is not getting this value, why it is showing this one, because I don't know. Okay, formula is not applied here. So I hope formula is applied here. Now this is creating good sense. And now I'm going to apply this formula across the board. So this now this is correct formula. Okay, the values are about this one. So copy, delete that, and then sorry. First you copy it number and then copy it transpose, it will be replaced, right? Okay. One thing is that I have tried my but you can do this by after doing all the calculation. You can select the area and then you can apply these values, just like in case of this column, because unless until I'm going to apply this whole column, this dollar sign, then it will be applied to every other value. Otherwise, every time you have to do that. Anyhow, so this remains same. Now what happens? We are going to apply some change. I'm going to apply some change here. So let's suppose first change which is going to be need to be incorporated is discount rate need to be 20%. What will happen if discount rate is going to be 20%? I'm just going to change this 20% 0.2, and keep one thing in your mind. This is important that reinvestment rate should change accordingly, because if you are not going to change reinvestment rate at the same rate and it is lower, then people not the stockholders are not allowing you to have more retained earnings. They want to get their dividend back, or if you are not giving the dividends, they will sell their shares and quit, because they are thinking that market rate is 20% and their investment, and you are offering 16%, right? Because you are having 20% discount rate. So this is why both rates should follow each other. Now the thing values has changed. Now copy number sign and then copy transpose, and the value has 4.45. Directly you can write this one, right? This comes from this break-even point. So what happens if you observe the values? Now 15,335 NPV reduced to 5,536, and this discount rate. So let's suppose if I'm going to make it in terms of dollar, and then I'm going to show it in terms of percentage, what happens with these values, and then 23% remains 23%. So there is no big difference between IRR, but MIRR significantly changes. So this kind of change is going to happen. Now other changes you need to apply. So I'm just going to apply all these changes simultaneously. 20% discount rate is change in cash flows 25%, and change in tax rate at 10%, right? So I'm going to apply all these changes simultaneously, and then you will observe the result. Already 20% change in discount rate is there, and then we are going to apply this change. You can generate another row and where you can place this cash flows changes, but otherwise you can directly use this strategy. Multiply with how much? 20% cash flow, it means 0.2 you need to apply, multiply with the original cash flow. So you will get only 20% of this 40,000. So you have to add with the same amount. Ultimately you will get the rise in this amount of 20%. So you will apply this formula across, and then you will get the values. This is second change, but we have also incorporated this third change as well, this change in tax rate. Recording is on. I have started recording or not? recording is going on. Okay. Now this means this 10% tax rate. Previously, what is the tax rate? This 4%, 40%, right? Now it has increased to 10%. I mean 50%. It becomes 50%. So we are going to apply this. So, simultaneously, when all three changes have been incorporated, your values has been changed now, and we are going to paste them. First, copy, and then you mention here transpose, and then you will write this 3.996 around 4, right? So 3.96996, right? So what it shows basically, if you observe again the data dollar sign, and these are the percentage values. So basically IRR and MIRR has improved with reference to the original situation. More internal rate of return and more modified internal rate of return you are getting. Break-even point has but increased. So previously break-even point was 3.8, but now it is 3.99, around 4. Right? Therefore, it has increased. So payback period become longer. What happens with the net present value? Initially, it was 15,000 something, and now it's 10,900, around 11,000. So it reduced. Some values improve, just like you can say these become, you can identify in green that they are actually increased, and you can identify, I'm not going to identify in red because usually red means minus value. So just giving any kind of color you can identify, or you can mention it in background some color, right, to show that what values are. This value shows that there are some kind of losses or negative change in these values, right? So in this way you can identify that value. So ultimately you have to incorporate all the changes, and then you can do or conduct this whole sensitivity analysis. Is it clear to everyone? All of you can do that?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Another important thing is related to the solver. Actually, I'm just going to apply this important technique which you need to understand. It's very simple. You again go to the data, and here you will find out solver. If you don't have this solver available, then you can use the adds in. Again, just like you have applied the adds in to generate this data analysis, you have to go to the adds in, and then you can incorporate this solver. What is the function of this solver? Actually, this is interesting because it is actually helping you to pick some kind of specified change. You can by yourself categorize the change and find out the result. Let's suppose with a given situation, how much changes has been occurred, because now taxes are 10% increase from 40% tax to 50% tax. 25% cash flows has also increased. Discount rate has increased to 20%. So different kind of variations has happened. You are just like break-even point is 3.9, but you are interested in this break-even point. It should be 2.5. It should be reduced. So what kind of changes are required in cash flows, or let's suppose your original investment, so that you can have shortest time period, right? And you can easily get your payback within 2.5 years, right? Let's suppose what you will do. First, you will pick that cell in which you want to make some changes. Just like you can pick this one. You can pick any IRR, MRR, MIRR, NPV, any value in which you are interested. And always you are interested in the last values of these, right? 5th year value. Any cell you can pick. Let's suppose I have picked initially this time period. So first value, set objective. I have set this objective, and then maximum minimum. You should not allow this, otherwise it will generate by itself. You will go for the value of exact what value I need, 2.5, because 3.9 is there. And then through which variable or which cell I am going to make this change. Mean to say, as either I am interested in the change in taxes, I may use these taxes. I may change discount rate. I may use this initial outlays, initial equipment cost. I may use any other kind of input, right? Life of the project, right? So anything can be used. Let's suppose if we are going to use equipment cost, what would be the equipment cost if we want to have 2.53 years, 2.5 year is the cost. Then we will apply this solve, and this will change the result, right? So now what has happened, if you observe your outcome, just a minute, actually say I'm just going to make the return, and then I'm going to do it again because this value need to be observed. Now it's observable. Now I'm going to apply the solver. Values are already chosen same, P2, P2. Okay. Now I'm going to apply the solver. Now you can observe 2.499 is 2.5. The time period or payback period is 2.5. And what is the required other values? 36,885 should be the NPV, 45% should be the IRR, 32% should be the MIRR. So these values. But what would be the equipment cost? Mean to say, actually, it has changed the equipment cost mainly, and then it has generated these results and ultimately found that it is possible that you may have 2.5 year payback period if and only if your equipment cost reduced from 1 lakh to 62,956, right? So you can save this scenario, and then you can name this scenario just like scenario one, and you can write down the scenario one, what is scenario one separately, so you know that what kind of changes you are talking about. So in this way, right? So you can save this, and then you come back or restore your original value, because you should know where you are. It is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, if I'm going to apply this solver, can anyone of you mention which kind of change you required? So I will place that, and the solver will generate the result. Any kind of change you may suggest by yourself. G, please.
Annual depreciation.
Okay, depreciation. So you are interested in the depreciation, and depreciation rate is fixed, right? Yeah, annual depreciation. So annual depreciation is straight line method has been used. So we cannot select all these cells now. We can select one cell, right? Since these cells are used every time period, so the impact could not be appear on all these cells. We have to generate salvage depreciation rate here, right? And then we can use that depreciation rate, then you can get this. Otherwise, another way is that you can use the salvage value, its impact will come here, right? So let's suppose you want to know salvage value, how much change in depreciation is needed, whether you want to change depreciation or you want to get some outcome and change in NPV or break-even point or something else. I don't know if you get it, but I may make it clear. Let's suppose you want to know if we want to get our payback up to 2.5 time period, right? With this value, and we want to change with reference to depreciation instead of equipment cost, that how much depreciation need to be adjusted so that we can get our payback within 2.5 time period, right? So I'm just going to take the salvage value, because the salvage value is going to be incorporated here. So ultimately it will affect this value. Let's see what will happen. So solver cannot find a point for which all constraints are satisfied. Therefore, it reached to 3.85, but it is not going to be got that value. So it's not possible through, and it has even made the salvage value 0. So this is the problem, that it is not going to be generated. Okay, this is the one way. This is the one way when you are going to. Next is that, let's suppose you want to reduce this and you target this and you want to apply this solver on this value, and you want to get your money back, that you want to have, this is 10,000 and you want to get 30,000 back, right? So you want to reduce your this depreciation. So that is the strategy, right? You want to use. So this is the target variable, and where you are going to make a compromise, right? You make a compromise in terms of, let's suppose again your NPV. So let's suppose solve it. Let's suppose, okay, objective cell is not a formula. So this cell is not a formula because it needs formula cell to make adjustment. So let's suppose if we are going to make this adjustment in formula cell, and this is possible. Here we will take this, let's suppose, how much, this NPV, and we go for maximum NPV. We will get the maximum amount of NPV, and by using this salvage value, let's see, is there, if salvage value is becoming 0, then you can get this NPV this much, 13,310. When the CRG engine is used, solvers has found at least a local optimum solution. When simplex LP is used, this means solver has found a global optimum solution, right? So both of the options are there, that whether you can use which kind of strategy, right, for that purpose. So we are just applying this solver. Therefore, you can save your scenarios for any situation. So I'm just going to come back to the original situation. So I just gave you the hint about that, how different kind of values you can take and observe the impact of these values on your solver. Let's suppose income tax, how much income tax need to be used. Let's suppose you want to get uh, this break-even point and you want to create a connection between income tax rate. Okay, how much income tax rate is needed if your break-even point is 2 years? Just like I'm applying this one. Solver is applied. So I just pick this one, make it value of 2.5, 2.3, let's suppose, and where we need change in tax rate. How much change in tax rate will cause 2.3 the time period for break even? Solver cannot, because what happens, solver actually try to change different values and try to get the outcome. Even tax become 0, still solver cannot reach to that destination, because we have mentioned 2.30, but it reached to the minimum possible destination, that is 2.34. So if let's suppose I'm just going to do it again and I'm just going to use this value 2.4, then definitely it will get the answer, right? Just like I'm going to make it 2.4, right? Now it is going to generate the solution. Yes, so 2.399, 2.4, and only income tax is 0.035, only 3.5% or 3.5% tax rate exists. Then it is possible that with the given scenario you can get your payback within 2.5 years, right? So this application of solver is clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So actually, you can use the solver to find out different kind of scenarios, right? Instead of putting by yourself different values, just like we were using, just taking changes in taxes one by one and then getting result, you can do it directly through solver, right? So you can get that result, because in that case, solver is actually mentioning the target value, right? Okay, how you can generate this target value. Let's suppose if you change this tax, automatically everything will be changed. But if we want to change these outcome, we cannot reverse the effect on these variables. That can be done through the solver. So solver is actually moving from outcome towards inputs, output towards input, right? Otherwise, we usually you go from inputs to outputs. So wherever inputs, we are going to change inputs, output will change accordingly. But we cannot change inputs in such a way that if we are going to change output, input should adjust accordingly. That is possible through solver. Any question, any query related to that? Clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, regarding your small portion that is going to be added, just like I'm going to discuss only this thing in the next class, and then we are not going to discuss much more, because I don't want to create more confusion and problems for you, because there is nothing confusion, no confusion or problem as such. Basically the time is the limitation. You need some ample time to do some more practice, and if I'm going to give you new things, you have to make some practice, and if you don't have the time, then you cannot make practice and you cannot prepare yourself for these things. Therefore, I'm just going to stop after incorporating very limited new changes in this data set, just like I have shown in the previous slide. I think in this slide it is also available. I hope so. This one, right? So this is the sale of the equipment. This row, these rows we are going to incorporate. So these rows are already incorporated in slide number 14. I'm going to upload that. So you can incorporate whenever you are incorporating that data into the Excel sheet. You can incorporate these changes as well. So we will discuss about if you have any problem related to that. Otherwise, you can do that. There is no problem as such, because strategy or method is already mentioned. You just have to follow the steps. Once you follow the steps, you will get the result accordingly. In the next class, these two components we will discuss. Number one, this you have to do it by yourself first, because then quickly you can get it. Sales of equipment, and then second is this annual end benefits and their distribution, right? Downside risk. Only that thing we are going to discuss. So kindly go through. I'm just going to upload these slides, 15, and then I'm expecting from all of you that you will go through it beforehand, because Thursday would be the last class, and if you have any kind of query related to that, it should be clear. Don't consider it exactly with the exam perspective, only consider it with your learning perspective, which is more important. My vivas or my evaluations are not testing your ratas, not testing your memories. My purpose is how much you have learned effectively. Whenever you are going to work somewhere, or you are going to use Excel sheet, you are going to observe these financial statements, how much capable you are to use them, to explain them, to interpret them, to generate some outcomes out of it, and to make some analysis. So if you have learned all these things to an extent, not exactly 100%, naturally, it's not possible, but to an extent, a reasonable extent, that is sufficient for me. But if you are not, then it's problematic for me, because my perspective is not going to be achieved. So a critical range or critical level is going to be set, so that just like all these assignments, all these activities actually following this critical level. So if you follow all these steps, if you do all those assignments, whatever I mentioned, and exercises, and you are working with me, all these things, whatever I have done for you, then actually you are achieving that target. If you are not, then you are lag behind. Try to fill that gap, because within this semester, if you are going to do that, you will do. Next semester you have different other courses, so you don't have time, and next to next you are running faster and faster, and everything is left behind. Some later time, whenever you are in corporate sector, and then you are going to open some financial statements, and then you realize that, oh, I have studied that, or I have worked on it. So then you are going to recall it. If you have good grip over these concepts, you can quickly recall. If you have weak grip over these concepts, or understanding, or no practice, lack of practice, then you cannot recall it effectively. So this is the way I'm going to expect from you your learning. Don't afraid of Viva. Viva is nothing. It's simple way to evaluate that what you have done. Just show me, and it is already done in midterm exam. You people have already participated in that kind of Viva. Just showing your work, how, and different things I'm going to ask about, and you will show it. You had show it, so the same thing is going to happen. Anything, any other question, query? Because I'm going to take your attendance now. If you have any question, you may ask.
No, sir.
Ibrahim Abbas.
Sir, where we have to submit this work?
Okay. A bit later. First, your attendance. Ibrahim Abbas.
Sir, present.
Muhammad Afzal. Muhammad Hamad Afzal.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Then Hamza Ahmad. Umair Akbar.
Yes, sir. Umair Akbar present.
Muhammad Ahmad Ansari.
Yes, sir.
Fatma Asad.
Present.
Faisal. Muhammad Ibrahim Faisal. Uruj Javed.
Present, sir.
Asma Shafiq. Asnad.
Present, sir.
Athar Habib. Mahnur Khwaja. Mahnur. She is not here today.
Sir, she was in the first session.
In the first meeting,
Sir,
she
I am
was there.
present, sir. Sir, Muhammad Ibrahim Faisal, sir.
You are always late. What is the problem?
नहीं सर, मैं लेट नहीं था. मैंने मैसेज किया, मेरी बैटरी 1% थी, मैं चार्जिंग पे लगा रहा था.
उमैर अकबर एब्सेंट.
और सर ये अत्थर का भी मैसेज आया हुआ है, उसका कनेक्टिविटी इशू है, वो भी प्रेजेंट था.
Asma Shafiq is absent.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now you are asking, someone is asking some question, please. Someone is asking some question related to this. Please. Those students who are attending their classes through mobile phone, what I must say to you, because how you will do the practice. Cell phone is not going to help you to make the practice. It's not so much obvious, means the little screen is not going to show you these values much clearly. I don't know how you'll manage it. It's really difficult. So preferable is that you have to have your own laptops or desktops through which you are attending your session. Anyhow, anything else related to overall class, anything, because this next class will be the last class, and after that you know that you people have your vivas, and I think your viva is on the same Thursday. Ahmed Ansari.
No, sir. 25th.
25th, sir.
Okay, I have shared with you the Google Sheet regarding Viva, and I have given both of the options. Either you can give your Viva on 19th, I think on Thursday it's probably 19th, or you may go for 25th. Because on 25th, the time is your time slot is 8 to 10. So I don't know whether it's convenient to you or not, but I have mentioned the time slot there. I don't know. I think I have started this from 8:30 or around that. So this is up to you. If you want to participate beforehand, you can do that.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thank you so much, all of you, inshallah. Next time we have another, I will share a different link, right? Okay, love this.